All right. Well, good morning and or good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are logging in from. Welcome to our Aplos webinar. Today's webinar, launching online donations for your nonprofit. And we are so glad you joined us. My name is Dan Kimball. I am the customer relationship manager here at Aplos, and we are so glad and thankful that you took time out of your busy schedules to join us today. So again, today's webinar, launching online donations for your nonprofit. Super glad that you can be with us. As we get going, a couple things we want to do, just quick little housekeeping items. First and foremost, the most important thing you want to know is that there is a question box available to you to use at any point throughout the webinar. Typically what I'll do is I'll wait to the very end and we'll leave plenty of time for questions. So if you have a question, feel free to type that in. If you don't mind, if one or two of you could just let me know that you can in fact hear my voice and see my screen, and you can just use the question box by doing that. So just let me know that you can both see and hear. That would be great if you could do that for me. Good, thank you. Welcome, Joanna. Great, Jerry. Great, super, awesome, super. Barbara, thank you. All right, well, it looks like we're good to go. So the overall purpose of today's webinar, of course, one of the things what we are doing at Aplos is we are trying to provide a number of resources for folks, particularly during this time with the COVID-19 and how that has quickly made our nonprofits really adjust fast on how they operate, how they have to, in a sense, do business. We've had a lot of people that are changing by canceling events and really trying to change their strategy. So one of the things that we wanted to do at Aplos is just make sure that our customers and potential customers, if you are just checking us out for the first time, know some of the tools that are made available to you during this time. I know, as an example, one of the nonprofits that uses Aplos was scheduled to have their annual gala about 2 weeks ago. And instead of canceling that gala, they actually turned it into a virtual gala where they they went into an environment where they accepted online donations. They had some presenters online. They actually did a little auction. So they moved forward. And so what we wanted to do in this webinar is just make sure that everyone knows that there are tools in Aplos that are going to allow you to launch those online donations. Many of you still might be relying on checks and cash or being physically at places to accept those donations. So what we want to do is just spend a little time and just show you some of those tools that are available in the Aplos platform to really move and convert to online. So the timing, though it's unfortunate of what is going on nationally, I do think that there's some opportunity for nonprofits to still maintain and raise money. So I'm going to be working in this demo account today. Also, I just want to let you know that we are recording this webinar and this will be made available to you. So if you are interested in some of the material, sometime this afternoon, you will be getting an email from me with a recording of this webinar, as well as of a couple other links that I refer to during this webinar. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to ask those at any time. But then what I'll do is at the very end of our time together, I'll go through those questions together. So first and foremost, know that this donation area right over here is going to be an important area in our Aplos software. So we're going to start right there. And I just want to remind people before we actually talk about the online donation forms and some of those tools is to talk about purposes. Because we are an accounting and donor management software all in one. We have two sides of the software. Of course, we have our fund accounting side, which is managing those expenses and the business side of your nonprofits. But over here, we have the donation side of the software, and that's going to be tracking those donations, donors, and all that particular information. But before we do that, we want to make sure that you do understand purposes. The way purposes are set up in Aplos is that's going to how you're going to get those donations or what some people will call designated donations to the correct place. So in every situation, you're going to have people are going to give to general support, or they're going to give to very specific things. Because a lot of our customers have called and they're making adjustments, and or they themselves are part of COVID-19 type of efforts, whether they're raising money on behalf of their nonprofit or actually doing work of in their community. We want to make sure that just how easy it is to create a new purpose and get that going and launch into an online donation form, and that information out there. So just a reminder right here as purposes, you can see right here, these can be one-time purposes or ongoing purposes. And in Aplos, you can add or take a purpose off of an online donation form at any time. And just as a reminder, when you set up a new purpose, you're going to go right here to the Screen Plus button. You're going to give that name, that purpose a name, and then also an income account and a fund. This is what allows you to not only track where that gets going, but also the source, which would be like donations. It could be fundraising revenue. Maybe you want to have a particular income account just for this time, as well as a fund. So for example, you can have multiple purposes go into one fund, depending on what it is you're trying to raise and what you want to see in a report. So I just wanted to highlight those purposes, and those do become important as you're adding and asking people to give to various things. So with that, let's jump into a real critical piece that a lot of people are starting to really understand and utilize, which is an online donation form. So in Aplos, we do give you the ability to create an online donation form. So if you have not yet done this in Aplos, if you are either a first time doing this, you've not quite gotten around to turning this on, just kind of as a reminder, the very first thing you're going to want to do is create a WePay account. WePay is the online donation processor that we use at Aplos. It's free to set up and it's free to use. There are transaction fees around that, just like any online processor. They all have them. We believe that ours are very competitive, and the fees for online donation processing in Aplos are going to be 2% plus 30 cents for automatic checking or that routing number, and then 3% plus 30 cents for Visa, MasterCard, and then it does go up to another percent for American Express. And we'll go over those again towards the end on those fees. But there's so once you get that WePay account set up, you are good to go. One of the benefits of online donations is one, if you're doing it in Aplos, as soon as that donation is made, that donor information gets automatically uploaded right into the software. So you're not having to import and export and transfer stuff from another software into Aplos. So there's two ways that you can set up an online donation form. The first is going to be just what we call a form, and the second is going to be called a widget. I just want to explain the difference between the two. A form is literally going to be a form that you create a link, and then you put that link on your online donation page or on your website, and people come to that page. So it might look something like this. I'm going to go to one of our Aplos partners. This is Macarios International. This is their website. So for example, when you want to hit donate now, you go to the donate area, and what you're going to do is you select where you want to donate. Each of these donate buttons are actually an online donation form. So for example, if I want to give to their school, I'm going to hit donate, and it's going to take me to this what we call online donation page. And as you'll quickly see that these pages are 100% customizable, so you can put your logo, pictures, the information that you want to collect from those donors. In some cases, you may want to collect an address. An email is required, but during this time, because so many people are moving to online donation, this is a great time to start collecting that donor information. So this is just a real quick view of what a form might look like. I'm going to spend a few minutes showing you how to actually build that form in Aplos, but I wanted to quickly show you what that looks like. So that's what we call an online donation form. Okay, now let's go back over here. A widget is a little different, and then versus going to that actual form, in other words, the feeling of leaving your website and going to the Aplos page. Some people don't prefer that. They want to not have that feeling, so we created what we call a widget. A widget looks something like this. I'm going to go to my colleague Michael's page that he created here at Aplos. This is just a fun little page about llamas that he quickly created for us. He's got a great sense of humor. And I'm going to go down to the donate button on his page. You'll see right here, I'm going to hit the donate button. And you'll notice that what happens, instead of going to that form, you're going to get this pop-up. What you lose in the widget is the ability to do like pictures and some of that text. What you gain is a quick way to get people to donate. So you can see right here, these again are going to be customizable. So you put the donation amount, the purpose, which we talked about. So your purposes, as well as if you want to have your donors make this a recurring donation and or pay the transaction fee. This is available, by the way, on whether or not you do, regardless if you do a widget or a form. The difference, again, widgets are a little quicker in terms of pop-up. They're very mobile friendly. What I personally prefer is the form, because you can get more info and a lot more detail on the form, but that is available to you. So I'm going to go ahead and click out of that, and we're going to go back here to my online donation form. So let's just show you really quickly for a few minutes how quickly and how easy it is to build a form in Applos. So I'm going to go right here. We'll just call this donations form, maybe a general one. One of the things I want to emphasize in Applos, you can do as many forms as you want. So actually really quick, I'll go back to the online donation form. You'll notice here that I have a lot of forms. In Applos, there is no limit on the number of forms you can do. So you could do one form for many purposes, or if you are, say, during this COVID-19, if you are maybe doing a particular fundraiser, or you yourself as an organization is doing relief efforts around COVID-19, you could maybe do a form just for that. It's completely up to you. Whatever works best for your organization and what you want your donors to see when they hit that form. But just to show you how quickly it is to build a form, we're going to just go right here to our form builder. As you'll notice, as soon as you create a new form in Applos, we're going to give you a link and name that link. And so at this point, all you're doing is taking that link, and wherever your Donate Now button lives, you attach this link to that Donate Now button. So that can be your website, that could be your social media page, that could be your newsletters or digital communication pieces. So quickly, what you're going to want to do is just give that form a design. Basically, this just means a color, as well as drop in your logo and any other images you want to put up top here. Okay. From there, you can then select the donor information you want to include. Again, name and email is required. After that, you can start adding things like custom fields. So if you want to collect some more information, like a t-shirt size or a job title or something like that, or you can also add a full address, and you could also make that required. Again, if you are in a situation where you are used to getting checks, or you are used to people coming to your site to make donations, I would encourage you to use the address field and make that required so you can collect that data. And just as a reminder, as soon as those donations are made, the Applos software will pull all that information for you. Okay, so once you get that, you can actually do the donation amounts. There's a couple things that are nice about this. One is you can allow for reoccurring donations as well as one-time donations. You can also ask the donor to pay the transaction fee. And then also, this is where those purposes that we talked about a few minutes ago come into play. Purposes, again, are you can add or delete purposes as many as you want per page. So again, this is where you can choose to do one page for just a couple of purposes, or you could do one donation page and do all the purposes within your organization. Completely up to you. And we'll show you an example of how this will all look here in just a second. Okay, so you'll notice right here, you've got your donation, and then of course your payment amount, which would be you can ask for both credit card and ACH, as well as ask those donors to pay that transaction fee, which I think is really, really important. So we'll just go back here to the donation side of things. Again, what's nice about purposes is what you can do here is from here is you can ask donors to select a purpose, or you could actually also have them split it. So if you're used to one purpose, but let's say you're doing something suddenly like the COVID-19, you could just go like this. You could ask people to not only continue their regular education support, but maybe the COVID-19 or something like that. So you can split from the form. You can do one purpose or many purposes, however you want. And again, I really love this part, which is make this reoccurring. It's a great way to start adding to that donation pool, which is asking people to donate regularly. Then they don't have to worry about it, as well as to make that to pay that transaction fee. Once again, I want to go over the transaction fees one more time through WePay. WePay is the processor that we use. There's no annual fee. There's no fee to start a WePay account. You just simply set that up for free, and then all you're paying is each transaction fee, which is 2% plus 30 cents for automatic checking, and 3% plus 30 cents for Visa, MasterCard, and then 4% for American Express. So that's how that's going to work right there. So the building the form, you can see, is going to be pretty easy. So let me explain the process. What's going to happen is once donations are made, you go right here to the online donations, and you will see in real time as soon as donations are made who donated, how much, and to what purpose. And so what's going to happen from the donor's perspective is the donors will then receive an email as soon as they donate. If it's a first time, it can serve as a, hey, welcome to my organization type of email. And the way you can do that is by hitting our marketing tab, and you go over to emails and automatic emails. You as an organization can set up some automated emails. So if it's a one-time donor or a recurring donor, you can create that customizable. So let's just go right here. So this is what the donor's going to receive as soon as they donate. Now, there's a couple important things. One, first of all, this is all things that you cannot change. In other words, these are fields that we require for you to have in this form. But what you can do from here is you can actually add some additional things, such as if you want to add more text, more photo, an additional link or button, you can do that all right from here. But this is what the donors will receive. And then lastly on this page, which is really important, the donors will also have the ability to, from at this point moving forward, manage their own online donations themselves. And how this is going to work, and again, this is optional. The donors do not have to do this. But if they want, they can create what we call a My Aplos account. And from their My Aplos account, they can log in and they can manage their donations, they can change their credit card, and they can even download their own contribution form. Let me show you how this works. And I want to emphasize that by doing this, this has nothing to do with your Aplos software. This is just simply a way for donors to log into their own portal, or what we call My Aplos. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go to My Aplos and show you kind of what my Dan Kimball portal might look like. So this is what the donor's going to see. They will not see any of this stuff right up here, in case you're wondering. This is your Aplos account as a nonprofit, but all they're going to see is this right here, and a home. They're going to just see these tabs right here. Hopefully you can see that with my mouse going across the top. From here, again, as I said before, is they can manage their donations. They can cancel a donation. They can update their credit card, or they can even download their own contribution statement if that's necessarily needed. Okay, so that's a great feature about both the automatic emails and those online donations as well. So let's go back into donations, online donations. Again, from here, you'll see who's given and how much, as well as your recurring donors. And then you as an org can then track those appropriately. And again, because we are accounting and donation software, anything that comes in here, you will have the ability to then deposit those into the accounting side of the software. So if this is a new donor to your nonprofit, that donor information will automatically get formed into what we call a contact card. So I'm going to go right over here to people. I'm going to go to my contact list. I'm just going to pull up a contact real quick. I'm going to pull up my colleague Jane. Again, the picture would not come in. You would have to put that in yourself. But if Jane was a first-time donor through online giving, this would automatically get created for her or for you, as well as that gift. If it's an existing donor, then the software is just going to add to this contact card that new gift. So if you go right here to contributions, donations would just start to add to this list. So from here, you then have the ability to communicate out, thank, and or send contribution statements to these particular donors. So it's a great tool and a great easy way to increase those donations and get people to start giving in that digital mindset. Okay, so that's your online donation forms and widgets. Okay, so again, you've got two options there, which is forms versus widgets. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about in terms of launching online donations to your nonprofit is utilizing text to give. This is one of our newest features. Text to give gives you the ability to have donors by utilizing a phone number can literally from their smartphone or device text in a donation to your nonprofit. It is an additional cost to your subscription, which we'll go over here in a second. And so what you're going to do if you're interested, you're going to go to the text to give page right here. And then if you are if you're not using it yet, you'll want to get that WePay account set up. If you already have WePay, you're good to go. And it's basically going to look something like this. What's going to happen in text to give is we are going to basically ask you to turn it on. And then once you turn it on, your nonprofit's going to be assigned a unique phone number, okay, which is right here. We're going to confirm that you have WePay, and then we're going to give you that phone number. From there, you can then text or publish that phone number, and then people will be able to simply by texting give or give 25, and you can use things like a short code. So if you want to say give general or give COVID-19, something like that, then you can quickly get people texting donations to your nonprofit. It will land in the software just like the online donation forms, which is those donors will show up in that online donation list. What's nice about this is this can be very convenient. Again, utilizing, I was going to say before COVID-19 and we all stopped doing events, this is a great way to do things like at events. You can publish this number on a screen, but now you might want to publish this on your website or other communication tools. For the donor, again, the donor experience, the very first time that they text, they'll be asked to set up their payment method, just like anything else. And then moving forward, then they don't have to enter in their credit card the next time. All they would have to do is just say text and then the particular purpose or code that you set up. This is all going to be available to you. We have a number of resources for you, as well as a text to give startup kit, which is going to give you some additional slides and some creative ways on how to promote our text to give program. The cost for text to give is $20 a month. And then, of course, you do pay the appropriate transaction fees. So if you're interested in that, please let us know. Okay, so that's our text to give. And again, I just want to mention that when we send you a follow-up webinar, follow-up email today from this webinar, we are going to send you a link that's going to look and we'll give you something that's going to look like this, and it will have some additional tools as well as more detail about how to set up text to give and some of that kind of technical setup information that maybe we didn't go over here. Okay, so you'll get that as well. Okay, want to kind of go over a couple other things that are made available to you. So I'm going to go back here. So from here, your online tools are going to be your donation forms, your text to give. You also have the ability, as those donors are coming in, to automatically make sure that they get emails, as well as I want to talk about contribution statements. So you as a nonprofit are in complete control of those donors. I know many of you already do this on an annual basis, but I do want to just remind and mention the great thing about this online platform is how quickly you can access those donations and then quickly send contribution statements and being in communication with your donor. Send those contribution statements by running a report of who's given how much, and then from here you can go to extra actions, and then you can either print or email the contribution statements. This is part of that digital transition. If you are interested in utilizing the email for those contribution statements, so that's another great tool for you. Again, as I said during the during the portion of donors setting up their own MyAplos account, they can also download their own contribution statements. Okay, so that's to you as well. One other tool I do want to show you really quickly as part of this digital, it's not so much a fundraising tool as it is a communication tool, is our email campaign builder. This is a great way to keep in communication, again, particularly during this time where getting communication pieces out to your donors is important. So just want to show you quickly how fast you can build an email or an email template in Aplos. Again, I did this in 5-10 minutes pretty easily using our template. You can use your lists in Aplos or particular groups by running a report and in real fast time send out information to those donors. So you can see right here, I built a quick little update tool that's going to give me some things like links, additional information, donation information, and all of that. Okay, so that's our marketing email campaign builder. This would be in lieu of like Constant Contact or MailChimp. If you're using those, that's great, but just wanted to make that available to you. So there's some really awesome tools for you. Again, as many of you are making adjustments and having to cancel events, I would encourage you to continue to keep that donation asking going. It's going to be a really important during this time. So if at this point, what I'm going to do is kind of look at questions and answers and see how if you guys have any questions at this point. So first from Austin. I made my website through Wix. Will we still be able to utilize the Aplos software donations? Yeah, absolutely, Austin. It's a great question. All you're doing with your website is still your own. All you're going to do is wherever your Donate Now button lives, you're just going to grab. If you go to the donations, online donations, let's just go back to my forms. And then what's going to happen is there's going to be a place where you can basically take the link and then put that on your donation form. Okay. So does WePay accept PayPal? Unfortunately, Carol, the answer is no. PayPal is a separate online processing tool. So WePay would be in lieu of PayPal. Now you could still use both, and we do have customers that do use both. So you could provide them an option, but if you're going to use the Aplos online donation form, you would need to use WePay. If I can link my Wix site to Aplos software, I'll be able to. Oh, well, I'd be able to get in contact with someone to help them link them together. Yeah, Austin. So what I'd encourage you to do is if you need some additional help on linking your website is to go ahead and give our support line a call. And again, just as a reminder, we do have a great support team. You just click the question box and you can hit this number right here, this 888-274-1316. Our support team answers phones from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, Pacific Daylight Time. So again, how you get that is by clicking the question box right there. Okay. Peer-to-peer. So from KH, if our website lists purposes all in one page or on individual pages, can we create an online form on page instead of widget or going outside to your website payment page? So I believe, KH, what you're trying to ask is can you do peer-to-peer? So the first answer is you can. In other words, if you would like to create an online donation form for people to go out and raise money, that's fine. What the one thing that our online donation form does lack is a traditional peer-to-peer page gives you the ability to do some things like thermometers and make those very personal to the person that's raising money on your behalf. So I would say if you're depending on the level of peer-to-peer you're trying to do, but you could in a sense make one donation page for a person or for one purpose. And I hope I'm answering that for you correctly. If our website lists purposes all in one page, or on individual pages. Yeah, so the whole idea with purposes is that depending on the form, you can create one or multiple purposes per page. Let me see, from Joanna, I've already got a website and I have QuickBooks Pro 2020 for designated computers only. Is Aplos donation button compatible with this? Joanna, so in a lot of ways, I mean, Aplos is cloud-based. So again, what you're gonna do with Aplos is you're gonna on your website, you're gonna be giving people a link to the Aplos site. If you're looking at using Aplos for accounting, then you're gonna want to go away from QuickBooks Pro. And again, because QuickBooks Pro, what it looks like you have is downloaded software onto computers. One of the advantages about Aplos is that it's cloud-based, so you don't have to have. You can be anywhere as long as you have access to internet to access your Aplos account. So I would say Aplos is going to be an alternative for you. Okay, hopefully that answered that question. KH asked, what are pledges? Great question. So in the donation area, we do have the ability to create pledges. So if you are an organization that does work with pledges, basically a pledge is a promise. So if somebody say wants to commit to say $5,000, but they want to set up a payment plan of $200 a month or something like that, a lot of organizations during campaign drives or building fund campaigns, capital campaigns, they'll create an opportunity for people to make a pledge. So again, it's a promise that somebody commits an amount, but then sets up a payment plan for that. And the software in Aplos will allow you to do that. Okay. So just one more time, just want to review. It does look like I don't have any other questions unless there's any more. So again, primarily in the donation area. So you have your online donation forms, you have your widgets, you have your text to give, you have your marketing. And I do also want to mention that we just released last week the ability to do what we call bulk texting. Now, bulk texting is not necessarily a fundraising tool as much as a communication tool. But if you do want information, please give us a call at that 888 number about our bulk texting tool. What you can then do is you can text out to a large group of people some kind of communication piece or update about something that you might be doing. That's a really exciting new feature in Aplos as well. Can you manage grants in Aplos? The answer is yes. And so you do that using our fund accounting. So KH, I would definitely encourage you to give us a call and give our sales team a call about that. But what you're going to do in Aplos is you'll, in a sense, create a grant as its own fund and be able to manage that very easily in Aplos. So the answer is yes. We have a lot of organizations that are using us for grant management. So great question. Okay. Any other questions? All right, well, it looks like we're kind of wrapping it up here. Again, we will be sending you, if you registered for this, obviously you registered because you signed, you were here, but we will be sending you a recording of this webinar. And if there's anything we can do here at Aplos to help your organization, if you have some questions, additional thoughts, anything we can help you, particularly during this time, as we do know many of you are working remotely, you're kind of changing your strategies during this season of events being canceled. If we can be of any help to you, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. One more time, I want to mention that there's two ways to reach our support team. One is this question box right here where you can access the phone number, or this little box right down here on the bottom right hand corner of your Aplos account is our intercom. I want to mention it's not necessarily a live chat, but you can type in a question and one of our team members, when they're not on the phones, will respond usually within 30 minutes to an hour. You'll get an email back. So those are two great ways to get a hold of our team members. Okay, I'm just going to look at questions one more time. On the accounting side, does WePay record everything? Austin, the answer is yes. So what happens is that the donations come in on the donation side, but then what we do is create a WePay register for you on the accounting side and very easily able to manage those donation side. Okay. All right. Well, I just again want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedules. This is a very unusual time for nonprofits, and we want to be available to you. And hopefully, throughout this, you'll be able to continue to maintain the mission of what you do, as well as continue to raise money. So it's a pleasure to work with our nonprofit customers. And again, thank you for tuning in. So with that, have a great day, everybody.